Hi, personal finance kiddos. Mrs. Martin here. So there has been a little change in our plans. Mr. Lester's last correspondence with parents and teachers is that we should be not giving any more assignments after Friday. So with that being said, it's kind of impossible to start a new unit and have that finished by Friday, or have that finished handing out assignments by Friday. So the test you just took yesterday will be your final work in personal finance. So as much as I'm sad because there's still very important units that I wanted to and usually do get through with my personal finance kids, we just have to kind of roll with the punches and deal with it because this is a unique situation. The next unit was going to be on credit cards, which like I said, is a very important unit because I think that there's a lot of dangers with credit cards, but they're also not a horrible thing if you do use them responsibly. So I am going to talk a little bit about them before this is over, but I just quickly wanted to say thank you all for a great year, or a great semester, I should say. It's been very unique to say the least, and I know that we've had some challenges with virtual learning, but for the most part, you guys have been wonderful. Your time management skills have been great, and I appreciate everyone reaching out to me, asking questions, and then just doing their best on the homework as possible. It's not easy, like I said, but I feel like we've made the best of the situation that we can. So thank you. For the remainder of the, I guess, quarter, if you have missing work, you need to be working on that and getting that turned in. I will not give you full credit for the work since it's late, but anything is better than 0 points in the grade book. So please, please, please work on that. Remember, this is a required class for graduation, so if you do not pass, unfortunately, you will not graduate. So I do feel like I've been very lenient on grading this since we've been out of school. So just please, this information is going to be useful for you as you head to college. Personal finance talks a lot about the challenges of just daily living. And not necessarily just challenges, but just daily living, okay? So once you guys are out and away from your parents' house, you're going to have to budget. You're going to have to learn to manage your finances. You're going to have to learn what it takes to be responsible for yourself. And that's part of why this class is required and so important. So with that being said, thank you again. I love you all so much. I wish I could give you one last hug as we finish our time together, but please know that I am always here for you. Most of you have my cell phone number, so even if you're in a real world situation and you're going to buy your first car and you need some guidance or you want some help with something, please reach out. I would love to help you with whatever situation you're going through. So no matter, just because you're done with school at Castle does not mean that I'm not still here to help you, and I really want you to know that. So with that being said, I do want to just quickly talk a little bit about credit cards because they sound very dangerous, and they can be. Don't get me wrong, they can be very, very dangerous. But when you guys, right now, you probably have 0 credit. What is credit? Okay, credit is how banks or financial institutions or anyone else who's wanting to give you money, like a car dealership, that's how they size you up, right? So we have a resume for jobs, and our credit score is kind of like our resume of our financial portfolio. It's like, how are we managing payments? Are we responsible? Do we not pay our debts? Okay, so you don't have any debt probably unless you have a car loan. So you don't have a credit score. You have no history. That can hurt you when you go to take out a car loan because they might say, "Ooh, you're not responsible enough. You have no credit. How can I know you're not a risk to us?" So someone's going to have to take their first chance on you, but you need to understand credit. So getting a credit card may be a good thing for you to help build your credit, to show that you're responsible and you can make payments on time and use that source of credit responsibly. So I always suggest to people who are new to being adults that, yeah, go ahead and get a credit card, but maybe just start only, I always say put a credit limit on it of like $200, okay? Because then you know that you can't go crazy, especially if you have spending problem. Let's just say it like that. So get a credit card, maybe a couple $100 limit, and just use it for gas. Okay, maybe if you travel to work, you know that you fill up once a week or something like that, and you know, like, you can afford that money because it's been coming out of your checking account. You can afford that money. The really important thing about credit cards is that you pay your balance in full every month. Are you required to do that? No, but I'm going to tell you why it's so important to do that. It's important because then you are not charged any interest. David and I have phenomenal credit. Okay, we have over 800 on credit scores, and so we are eligible for the best rates, and we still are paying around, I think our credit card is like 26% interest. But I never have to pay that interest because at the end of every month when I get my bill, you'll get your bill monthly, but at the end of every month, I pay that balance off in full. If I pay it off in full, no interest is charged. I also choose to have the credit card come out, the payment come out automatically out of my checking account, so then I now have to worry about a late charge. So when you get your credit card statement, it will say minimum payment, and that's usually like 10%. Okay, like 10%, you have to pay a minimum of $25. If you were only paying the minimum payment and getting charged interest of 26%, it's going to be hard to ever get ahead, right? So what you should be doing is when you're using your credit card, you should also be kind of mentally, or you can be writing it in your checkbook, in your checkbook register, mentally saying, okay, I need to account for this, account for this, account for this. So when I get my statement at the end of the month, I can see, I know that I've already accounted for that, so I know I have enough money in my checking account to pay that credit card off. So you think, well, what's the point of doing that? Why don't I just use my checking account? Well, you can, but you're building credit then because you're showing you're going to be making your payments on time every month, that you're responsible and can have debt and pay it back. And also, maybe you have a credit card that earns you some rewards. That's the main reason David and I use our card. We actually put quite a few things on our card every month, but it's a Cabela's credit card, and my husband gets points to use it at Cabela's. So for us, we pay it off every month. We know that we have the money to pay for it out of our checking account, and we get points. So there are some advantages to credit cards. The other thing you want to look at when selecting a credit card is that making sure it has no annual fee. Because a lot of times if it has an annual fee, you would have to spend a ridiculous amount of money to earn enough to compensate for the fee you're paying. So don't find one that has a fee. Store cards are fine. Usually you don't really get a lot of rewards for them. But you know, that's a good way too of getting, working on getting some established credit. The one thing with store cards though is a lot of times you can only use them at that specific store. And I kind of believe that having a store card, although you can get more coupons, having a store card sometimes makes you want to spend money at that store, probably for stuff that you really don't need. So having a general credit card where you can use anywhere, especially for gas, would be good. So you know that you're not going to just, oh, I need to go buy this new outfit and I have a credit card. Thank you, honey. I'm just finishing up a call, okay? Yeah. Or a Quick Trip card. Maybe you get gas at Quick Trip and you know, well, I'm just going to use it for that, etc. I know when we were building our house, I did have a card at TJ Maxx that I could use on gas, and I had that because then I would earn, thank you, Eli. I could earn points to use in the store. And the kids were downstairs in the basement, found our old wedding thank yous. Thank you, Eli. Anyways, so then I got all these reward points. So then when I went to decorate my house, I had money at TJ Maxx to use for free. But again, I feel like it is enticing to, when you have a store card, to feel like it's okay to buy that shirt even if I don't need it and don't have enough money for it right now because I have my store card. So just be cautious of that. If you need any help with credit cards or want to know, NerdWallet is a really great resource for anything financial. I use that a lot myself, and it just has some really good articles and things to take into consideration. So always feel free to check out that website. So yes, highly suggest a credit card but you need to be responsible and you need to make the payments on time. And if you have a late payment, it's going to be like a $40 fee, just like an overdraft. So, and that can hurt your credit. So what hurts your credit is not making payments on time and not making payments at all. So what they're wanting to do is it's essentially, like I said, it's your resume of your financial portfolio. So are you opening accounts at all these places and using the money but not paying it back? Like, of course, you're gonna be seen in a bad light. So as much as I would have loved to go through this whole credit card unit with you, because I truly feel like it's valuable and it's important to understand how dangerous they can be too. I just thought I'd kind of do a little video. So please, please, please just be smart with your credit cards, okay? Don't really think you guys need more than one right now. Get one to help you establish credit, but don't go crazy. I have seen very, very responsible adults get into such credit card debt that they've had to refinance their house to pay off their debt because they have so many payments and such high debt that they can't, even with their great jobs, can't afford to do it on a monthly basis. And that's sad when you've gotten to that point and worked hard your whole life and you don't have money because you're carelessly spending on your credit cards and can't keep up with the payments. So it can be very dangerous. But anyways, I hope that was just a little bit of information about credit cards. We would have went through a whole unit, like I said, but I wanted to touch base with it because it is very important to me that you guys understand that they can be a great tool. I mean, if you have an emergency and you need something, like if you don't have enough cash in your savings account or your checking account and you have an emergency, like you have to take care of your emergency. So it is good to have it as a backup. It's very good to have it as a backup. Now, I don't think a new pair of shoes is an emergency. I'm talking more like car trouble or something, but it can be good and it can be something. It's just like a safety net. But again, don't get into trouble with it because people can definitely do that. What else? I guess that's it. But we also were going to talk about insurance a little more in more depth and investing. So those were the 3 units that if we would still be in school, we would be finishing those out. So investing is hard to talk about on here because it's such a deep topic with so many different areas that we could delve into. But I will say this, financial planners are important people. They have those jobs because they understand it way better than anyone like myself. So I would highly suggest if you have some money and you want to do some investing to research and find a really and ask for reviews and ask for recommendations. But financial advisors are really good to have and they know what they're doing, most of them anyways. So I would trust, we trust, my husband and I feel like I know a lot about investing, but I still trust the professionals to help me make decisions. So think about that too. There's professionals there for a reason. All right, I'm almost capped out at my 15-minute mark here, but please, I hope you watched this video and I hope you know that I am here for you even after you leave CHS. I love you guys again and I hope you have a great summer and stay healthy. So, adios.